Before the 1960s, traditional gender roles were clearly defined, and both men and women understood their expectations within these roles. However, with the rise of feminism in subsequent years, there was a shift in societal attitudes, and women were encouraged to embrace their newfound independence, often being told they no longer required a man in their lives. This shift has had a noticeable impact on relationships and the stability of couples. The landscape has changed significantly, and many believe it has led to a challenging situation in the realm of modern relationships. In the United States, divorce rates surged in the 1970s, coinciding with the feminist movement's rise. While divorce rates have since stabilized, they remain significantly higher than in previous decades, with around 40 to 50% of marriages ending in divorce. The exodus of female matchmakers from their profession due to the unrealistic expectations of some women is indeed concerning. It's not a viewpoint I usually express, but there are troubling trends among modern women. They seem to desire the perks of traditional relationships while hesitating to fulfill traditional roles. They might seek the ideal partner, often dubbed the 3 6s, yet carry a high number of past relationships, single motherhood, and significant emotional baggage. On average, people are getting married at later ages than in previous generations. At the same time, the number of single-parent households, often led by women, has increased. In the United States, approximately 81% of single-parent households are headed by single mothers. It's worth noting that some of these behaviors might be rooted in a fear of male sexuality, driven by the historical oppression women have faced. While there's merit to addressing genuine concerns about male sexuality, some women use this as a justification for their questionable conduct and unreasonable demands. The awareness of historical gender oppression may lead some women to believe that men collectively owe them a societal debt. Whether this notion holds today is debatable, but some women take it to extremes by applying it to individual men in the present. This can foster a sense of entitlement and unreasonable expectations, even reinforcing harmful sexist practices. This situation creates tension between genders, ultimately leaving everyone dissatisfied. Women tend to be highly group-oriented, and this trait can be observed in various aspects of society. It's notable how women are often more susceptible to social contagions, such as cutting, eating disorders, and eraser burns. Women are also more likely to be active on social media platforms, comprising a significant majority of users on platforms like Instagram and Pinterest. Thus, women tend to lead and dominate social media movements like body positivity and the #meta movement. Currently, female empowerment is a prominent theme. Women frequently encounter influential figures on social media, exemplified as confident, stylish, and assertive individuals who inspire them not to settle for less. This message resonates deeply on an emotional level. Much like a commander motivating an army with a powerful speech about defeating the enemy, influential women on social media can rile up others. When a woman with a significant following and a seemingly glamorous lifestyle shares empowerment quotes and messages, it has a similar effect, stirring the emotions and passions of other women. That's why we often witness many women clinging to the boss bitch facade even when they've been hurt. A man might stand them up on a date, and suddenly, it turns into, well, he was a mediocre white cishet male anyway. I didn't like him anyway. He wasn't worth a thing. Blah blah blah. It's as if admitting that a man hurt their feelings threatens the boss bitch persona that so many women on Instagram and TikTok strive to project. Consequently, they act as though men are beneath them, suggesting only the finest men are worthy of their attention. This behavior serves as an example for younger women on social media who feel compelled to follow suit. They see someone doing it, and they think they must do the same. This issue is strongly associated with the influence of social media. Women who have real-life experiences and who interact with men in various settings tend not to harbor such unrealistic expectations of men. They have genuine experiences that help them understand that real men aren't all evil. Certainly, there are exceptions, particularly for women who have experienced genuinely abusive environments or trafficking. However, it's noticeable that many women with unrealistic expectations tend to be from white, middle-class, liberal backgrounds who spend excessive amounts of time online. Similar patterns can be observed in the case of incels, often influenced by online echo chambers. The modern dating landscape appears challenging, with high divorce rates reflecting a lack of relationship satisfaction. From a certain perspective, it does seem that many Western women have, in the eyes of some observers, become more demanding and less accommodating in the dating sphere. Women frequently exhibit characteristics that can be challenging for potential partners to contend with. These traits include arrogance, as some women are seen as overly confident or even condescending in their interactions with men, which can make dating feel like a battle of egos rather than a shared connection. There's a perception that women have become less open to differing viewpoints, leading to a lack of constructive dialogue in relationships. An excess of pride can sometimes be interpreted as an unwillingness to compromise or admit fault, which can strain relationships. Women's belief that they are inherently deserving of certain treatment or privileges in a relationship can lead to unrealistic expectations and dissatisfaction. Some women are seen as exhibiting childish or demanding behavior, which can be frustrating for their partners. In this context, attempts at providing constructive feedback to address these issues often meet with resistance or even defiance. The idea of self-awareness, where individuals reflect on their behavior and its impact on their relationships, can sometimes be lacking. Moreover, some critics argue that there's a prevalent expectation of unconditional acceptance in modern dating. Regardless of their condition, whether it be physical attributes like weight, certain odors, or less than ideal hygiene, there's a belief among some women that they should be accepted without question. This attitude can strain relationships and hinder open communication. Self-awareness is often lacking, and they expect acceptance regardless of their condition, whether it be 200 pounds in weight, with certain odors, or less than ideal hygiene. These are just a few examples of observed trends. Western women are often criticized for what some perceive as emotional fragility and an inclination to prioritize feelings over facts. This perspective suggests that they sometimes overlook practical considerations, like avoiding danger, in favor of their emotional state. When they encounter something negative, rather than embodying the strong and independent image they often promote, they might resort to emotional reactions, seeking external intervention, and simultaneously asserting their capability to rival men, even when evidence suggests otherwise. Critics argue that some women hold on to the idea that they can adopt a less ambitious approach to life and still demand the same level of respect as someone who has achieved notable success. This is akin to expecting equal treatment regardless of one's accomplishments, while simultaneously displaying behavior that appears immature and lacking in emotional maturity. Some contend that, despite advocating for strength and independence, women may still rely on government support programs funded by society. They might declare their self-sufficiency while hesitating to take actions like asking someone out or engaging in physically demanding occupations such as construction work. The observation that women can't even open a pickle jar is sometimes used to illustrate this point. Critics often raise concerns about the perceived inconsistency when individuals endorse social movements and concepts, such as the idea that men can become women, and vice versa, while simultaneously demanding special privileges. The argument made by these critics revolves around the concept of equality and questions why any group, regardless of their identity or background, should require additional privileges if the ultimate goal is equal treatment for everyone. From their perspective, the endorsement of movements advocating gender fluidity and self-identification appears incongruent with seeking special accommodations. The logic behind this criticism is rooted in the idea that if society is striving for true equality, it should apply universally, without distinctions or preferential treatment for any particular group. However, women want special treatment while simultaneously wanting equality. Critics argue that this apparent contradiction can arise when individuals view reality solely through the lens of emotion, as most women do. They contend that a strong emotional attachment to a particular perspective might hinder critical thinking or lead to cognitive impairments, which, in turn, could contribute to the perceived inconsistencies in the demands made by some individuals. However, logic is not a strong suit for most women. So it makes sense why they think that way. And that's it for today on Sigma Traits. Make sure you hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and don't forget to ring that notification bell so you can be the first to know when my new video drops. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. See you all tomorrow.